Ireland is enjoying economic success like never before. And for many of us, it's important to keep informed of the business news. However, at the best of times, business news can be difficult for us to understand. We tend to hear unfamiliar terms, facts, figures and percentages that confuse many of us. David Murphy is a business correspondent with RTE News, and we showed him what the man on the street had to say.
Would you watch the business news?
No.
Not as a rule. I wouldn't watch it now.
No interest whatsoever.
Do you understand what the word inflation means?
Is it just how much things increase just naturally without anyone putting it up, the prices up?
It's a persistent increase in the level of prices.
Rising costs.
Do you understand what an interest rate increase might mean?
Yes. It'll mean an extra couple of €100 on anybody's mortgage, weekly or monthly.
It's gone up 4 times now already this year, and it's probably going to go up another 2. So it's an extra €30 a month. It won't be long before the bubble bursts in this country, and you'll see an awful lot of unemployment back like it was in the early 80s.
One of the things that comes from it very clearly is that business terms and business language might confuse people sometimes, but I think in reality people, while they may not know the exact definitions of a variety of things, they have a very clear understanding regarding what it means to them, and they immediately know whether or not that's going to be taking money out of their pocket.
This interest rate increase is no surprise, but it's unwelcome for the thousands of people who have to pay record prices for homes. Today's figures from the Central Statistics...
Well, I think the main skill in terms of presenting business news so it's accessible to everyone is to use simple and straightforward words which everybody can understand. If you're talking about interest rates rising, if you talk about the ECB, many people may not know what that means. If you talk about the European Central Bank, the people who control those interest rates, then people have a better understanding of what that means. With television, you're going to have the pictures to tell the story. For instance, with something like a rate rise, you can actually take a picture and show a house, and then on top of that say, this house costs €400,000. A mortgage on this house is going to cost so much per month, and it's now going to rise by €44 a month. So you can tell it with graphics. However, in radio, you need to have a simple script to tell that story.
Repayments on a €100,000 variable mortgage over 30 years will increase by €14 a month. A €200,000 loan will rise by €29 a month.
You've got to bear in mind that if you throw in too many figures into anything, people can get confused.
But with all interest rate increases, savers get a better return on their deposits.
They've only really got one chance to hear it, so you need to keep it very simple and very clear all the time.
Brian Cowan and his family braving the elements as they arrive for his second budget.
Everything we see around us in terms of our roads, our schools, our hospitals, public transport, all of that is funded through the government. And the budget is really the time of the year when the government decides how much money it's going to take in and how much money it's going to spend.
Parents, regardless of their labour force status, for each child up to his or her 6th birthday.
It can be a big challenge when the government produces a very large document like the budget. With the radio and television business news, we do try to make it as clear and as accessible to everyone. There's a vast amount of information on the internet and RTE's website, so if there's things that people have missed or they're unsure about, they can actually read through it again in quite an accessible way on rte.ie. And I think as well, you know, newspapers do often give a very good understanding of what's going on in terms of those financial issues as well.